A very good morning to all. This is a question which was asked yesterday on 11th November 2021 for General Writing Task 2. In many cities, many people are living in large apartment blocks. Do this accommodation have more advantages or disadvantages? This is a question that we are going to discuss today. So you need to analyze it as more advantages or disadvantages and give your opinion. If it is more advantages, you have to say it has more advantages, and if have more disadvantages, the other way around, you have to say that. So actually, it's an opinion question. So we have a statement there. A statement is a factual information, and the factual information that is in many cities, many people are living in large apartment blocks. So this I cannot deny, it's a fact. So do you think that this sorts of accommodation gives people more merits or more demerits? Is it beneficial or not? Now, in the first particular part, that is the introduction, we can see the first sentence deals with the statement, large apartment blocks have become a crucial part of people and have become very common in many large cities today. So we can see many apartment blocks. Apartment blocks in cities are very common. That is the situation. Accommodation in these blocks is advantageous to the city dwellers, although accommodation in these blocks is advantageous to the city dwellers. So for the city dwellers, it is advantageous. So that is the first part that we are going to discuss in this thing. It is advantageous. It also poses some challenges. That is the second thing. So the first part, advantages here. The second part, challenges here. So this is our organization. Now we have to see in detail. One of the major merits, we have more merits, one of the major merits. It gives people quicker access to the services of the cities. Number one, quicker access to the city services. To explain it further, a city offices, health, education, transportation, recreational facilities, all these facilities are closely dependent on the number of people who are expected to access those. So we do have hospitals, we do have industries, we do have transportation bus stations, railway stations. All these things are we have close relation between the number of people living nearby in cities. You know that when large apartments are there, we can see a lot of hospitals there. In large apartments are there, we can see better transportation facilities there. In large apartments are there, we can see malls, cinema halls, all these things there. So we have all these facilities closer to these people, closer to these apartments, because a bulk number of people are living there. So it is concentrated in these areas. So you can see these facilities would be concentrated in these areas, especially where multi-stories, storied apartments are more. Okay. Now another merit is the financial benefit, because the cost of living is much higher in cities than in suburbs or villages. You have to spend a lot of money in cities than in a village or in a rural area, a countryside. An independent house or a villa would be too expensive in a metro city when compared to an accommodation in an apartment. So if you want to live in an independent villa or a house in a metro city, you have to spend a lot of money, but it is very economical for you to live in an apartment, an accommodation in an apartment. The apartment culture also saves living spaces in cities, which is pro-environmental move. Now, you can save living spaces in cities. You know that this much area is needed for 1,000 people to live if it is a horizontal accommodation, but only this much area is needed for a vertical accommodation. So in this space, I can go ahead with 3 such people. In this area, I can accommodate 3,000 people. When it is horizontal accommodation, you go with 1,000 people. So this is the difference. It is more environmental friendly because it saves a lot of space there. So this is another advantage there. However, accommodation in large apartments is not free from criticisms and vulnerabilities. People will be confined. The criticism number one, people will be confined inside the walls most of the time. And social interactions are seen minimum. There are increased risk of fire outbreaks. And in such circumstances, eviction is not fairly easy. So we have risks and criticism. Criticism is less social interaction. All the time you be inside. No social, like a jail, it would be automatically. The risk of fire or earthquake, all these things. And we do have the risk of life there. To conclude, even though there are some demerits in leading a life in large apartments in metro cities, it's clear that to access the facilities of cities, accommodation in large apartments is necessary. So it is necessary to, it is very necessary to for the city dwellers to live in a large apartment. It has become a necessity rather than living in independent houses, which is very expensive. It's not possible to, because we have no available spaces there. So when we analyze this thing as a whole, we can say that there are merits, visible merits, as well as visible demerits, but I can say in the conclusion that people in a modern city have to live in apartments because it's not possible for them to live in a house or an independent house or a villa. It's too expensive and it's not possible. It has become a need for the city dwellers to live in apartments. So it gives them some merits, and that's why we are telling that it has more merits. You can say the other way too. You can say demerits are there more than merits too, the other way too. So you can present the question in either way. So you need to present the supporting reasons in a logical way. That's it. You can have a look from the very beginning till the end. Thank you all.